She kissed him, knowing she shouldn't. Not because she didn't love her husband, she did, but because her heart never fully let go of someone else. He was her husband's best friend, the man who once held her heart before she walked away. Now he's back, and he wants her again. And the worst part? She wants him too. They said marriage was forever. But what happens when the past refuses to stay buried? When love, loyalty, and desire collide, someone always gets hurt. He forgave her once. That should have been enough. But she went back to him anyway. She never meant to love two men at once. Have you ever been like them, blinded by love, thinking forever was a promise, not a possibility? Ella and William were the kind of couple others quietly envied, not for their wealth or fame, but for the way they looked at each other like nothing else mattered. They met in college, two wandering souls who found home in each other's arms. From rainy afternoon coffees to starlit road trips, their story was the kind people wrote poems about. And when William proposed under that oak tree behind her grandmother's house, Ella didn't hesitate. It was perfect. He was perfect. They got married in spring, the kind where everything blooms, even the heart. Life felt like a fairy tale, peaceful, warm, safe. Until Marvin showed up again. He was William's best friend from childhood, the one he trusted like a brother. William had never seen Marvin as anything more than that, a loyal friend who had his back through thick and thin. So when Marvin moved back to town and started visiting more often, William welcomed him with open arms. But what William didn't know was that Marvin had a secret. He had loved Ella once. Before she met William, Marvin and Ella had a brief, quiet romance that ended before it ever truly began. Marvin had stepped away when he saw William falling for her, his love hidden beneath a polite smile and quiet retreat. But now that he was back, he couldn't stay away. It started innocently, dinners when William worked late, conversations that lasted too long, laughter that felt too intimate. Marvin looked at her the way William used to, and Ella, she felt it. That stirring in her chest she hadn't felt in months. It wasn't that she stopped loving William, but life had gotten comfortable, repetitive, safe. And Marvin reminded her of something else, something she couldn't quite name, but it made her heart beat faster. William trusted them both, blindly. He'd say, "It's good to have Marvin around again. Feels like old times." And Ella would smile, guilt already growing like cracks in her voice. But she didn't stop the dinners, or the chats, or the way her mind wandered late at night. She told herself it was just nostalgia, that she was just being polite, that she loved her husband. But every time Marvin looked at her, like she was still the one who got away, she wasn't sure who she was anymore. And the peace that once defined her home now felt like a silence she didn't know how to fill. Some people walk away from love. Others walk right back into it, even when they know it could destroy everything. Marvin had waited years for this second chance. When he first realized William had fallen for Ella, he chose loyalty over love. He let her go believing that stepping back was the noble thing to do. But time hadn't erased what he felt. If anything, it had made it worse. Now, sitting across from her at candlelit dinners while her husband worked overtime to build their future, Marvin was done pretending. He wasn't here for friendship. He was here for her. And Ella knew it. He never said it outright. He didn't have to. It was in the way he lingered a little longer after each meal. The way he remembered every tiny detail from their past her favorite book. The way she curled her hair when nervous. The soft song they once danced to in the back of his old car. He brought her back to a version of herself she thought she'd lost. Marvin didn't push. He whispered, gently, constantly, reminding her of who she used to be when the world still felt full of wonder, when she wasn't someone's wife, when she was just Ella. At first, she fought it. She told him, I'm married. You know that. And he nodded. Every time, respectful, quiet, but he stayed. He showed up when William was gone. He called when she didn't answer. And when she looked in the mirror, she didn't see William's wife anymore. She saw a woman torn between comfort and chaos. Ella started to pull away from William. It wasn't loud. There were no arguments, no accusations, just distance. Subtle at first, fewer touches, fewer conversations. Nights, she said she was too tired. Mornings, she left early and came back late. William noticed, but he didn't know what it meant. He thought maybe she was stressed. He bought her flowers, made her favorite dinners. He tried. But the truth was, her heart was already slipping. One night, after another long talk that stretched too close to midnight, Marvin told her the truth. Walking away from you was the biggest mistake of my life. And Ella didn't respond. She just looked at him like she'd been waiting to hear those words for years. That was the moment. The moment she stopped fighting. She kissed him. It wasn't passionate. It wasn't wild. It was soft, slow, almost afraid, like she still hoped it wasn't real. But it was. And from that point forward, there was no going back. She had crossed a line, not just with her body, but with her soul. Marvin became the secret she couldn't let go of, the escape, the warmth, the danger. And William, sweet, loyal William, kept smiling, still believing his best friend and his wife were just catching up on old times. But Ella had stepped into a storm she couldn't control, a storm she had helped create, and the damage had only just begun. Secrets don't stay secrets forever. William found out the way most people do quietly, not with a dramatic confession, not with shouting, but with small things, messages left open. Her phone screen lighting up when she thought he wasn't looking. The shift in her voice when she said Marvin's name. At first, he told himself he was being paranoid. Marvin was his best friend. Ella was his wife. These were the two people he trusted most in the world. But the truth doesn't care about trust. And eventually, it broke through. One night, Ella came home late. She looked tired, distant. William had made dinner again her favorite. She smiled, tried to play normal, but the silence between them was too loud now, too sharp. He looked at her and asked, gently, "Is there something I should know?" She froze. Her mouth opened, but no words came. That silence said everything. He already knew. But instead of exploding, instead of screaming or packing his bags, William just breathed, hurt deep in his eyes, but still soft, still loving. I don't want to lose you, he said. Tell me what you need. Tell me how to fix this. That moment shattered her more than any accusation ever could. Because she didn't deserve it, his kindness, his patience, his forgiveness. But he gave it anyway. He begged her to come back to him, promised they could start over. He wanted to fight for their marriage, even if she was the one who broke it. And in that moment, part of her did want to fix it. She nodded. She said she would end it, that Marvin was a mistake, that it was over. But it wasn't. Because love, real or not, doesn't vanish just because it's wrong. She tried. For a few days, she avoided Marvin, blocked his number, refused to meet. But the ache grew louder. The pull came back. The thoughts, the dreams, the way he made her feel alive. She started seeing him again, in secret this time. Lies layered on top of lies. And each time she looked at William, she saw the pain in his eyes deepen, because he could feel it. The betrayal hadn't ended. It had just gone quiet. And Marvin? He didn't care about hiding anymore. He wanted her, all of her. He whispered things to her that made her believe love was worth the wreckage. That what they had was fate. That William would survive. But this wasn't a love story anymore. It was a slow collapse of a marriage that once felt unbreakable, of a woman who never meant to hurt the man who gave her everything, of a man who watched the woman he loved walk away, not once but twice. And maybe the worst part? Ella never stopped loving William. But love isn't always enough, so she stayed with Marvin. Not because it was better, not because it was right, but because it was what she chose. And some choices can't be undone. If this story moved you, or made you think about the fragile line between loyalty and desire, share your thoughts in the comments. Someone out there might need to hear what you have to say.